In the age of the internet, misinformation has never been easier to spread than it is today. And one type of misinformation that has been seeing more of an influx than ever before is conspiracy theories. Mud floods, the earth is flat, billionaires, they actually might not be good people after all. These are all conspiracy theories with no basis in reality. Especially that last one. I think Elon Musk, he's a nice guy. I mean, Jeff Bezos, he sent Katy Perry to space. How bad can he really be? We've all heard at least one in our time, but I'm here to tell you right now that the government and the elite aren't the only things that people are making conspiracy theories about. There are conspiracy theories being made about everything. Nothing is safe. Not even our precious and beloved kids shows. And there's no better place to find these theories than everybody's favorite time vortex, TikTok. So today we're going to be going through some of these theories, most of them kids show related, some of them just dumb theories, and I'm going to be sharing them with you. Strap in. Let's get into it. If you thought that Blue's Clues was a fun little kids show to educate kids in a goofy little way, think again, okay? There's a dark truth behind it. Just like there's a dark truth behind every TV show, apparently. There's a dark truth behind everything. The dark truth behind Jackson Field's YouTube videos. Did you know that Jackson Field actually uses a camera to record his videos? This is a reflection of the fact that you need some sort of a recording device to make a YouTube video. Anyway, let's get into theory.
If you thought the Teletubbies mental institution theory was crazy, check this one out.
Okay, just straight up, for those that don't know the Teletubbies mental institution theory, I recommend you watch the other conspiracy theories video I made. But let's give a quick recap. Teletubbies are actually kids from a mental asylum, and they all have different stupid ways that they ended up the way they are. I don't know. Apparently, Tinky Winky's like deaf. Poe caught on fire somehow, and that's why they're red. I don't know, man.
Steve, the protagonist of Blue's Clues, is recognized for wearing a green shirt and conversing with fictional characters such as a talking salt and pepper shaker and a bar of soap. According to one fan theory, some speculate that Steve is actually mentally ill and is being held in an insane asylum as a result of a heinous crime he committed that caused him to regress to his childhood state.
What is his photo, man? Why does Steve look like that, man? Steve has never looked like that. Why does he have a blue little beanie on? And what has happened to Blue? It looks more like a monkey than a dog. What is that? Man, they gotta stop using AI to generate visual images for these theories, man. And they actually need a real person to narrate them while they're at it. Let's get the AI voice away as well. You know what? In all honesty, AI probably wrote a lot of these theories. Let's be honest.
According to this theory, Steve only lives in one room of the facility.
Blue, what the hell happened to you, man? Oh my god. Dude, I would be in a mental asylum if that's what my dog looks like.
According to this theory, Steve only lives in one room of the facility and imagines himself to be in a house.
He's right behind me, isn't he? Oh boy.
Which explains why his furniture is all padded and mail is delivered straight to his room. When he walks from one room to the next, his location remains constant, showing that he is not moving.
Yeah, well, that proves it. He's in a mental asylum because he doesn't move and the set around him does. I guess that means I must be in a mental asylum too. The dark truth behind Jackson Field's The Minecraft series, he's actually in a mental asylum because everything around him moves, but he does not. Think about it.
He does, however, go to the backyard for yard time on occasion.
Yeah, of course, yard time. Yep, and that is obviously why he goes outside in the TV show, is for yard time. You know, speaking of yard time, that actually reminds me of one of my favorite Blue's Clues episodes where Steve and Blue have to choose what gang to join, and they're out in the yard without any protection, and they got to find the biggest dude in the yard, and they got to beat him up so that they can prove to the whole prison that they're the toughest, most badass people there.
If the theory is correct, it would explain why all of Steve's encounters are fictitious and why he appears to be continually talking to himself.
That would explain it. Yeah, for sure. Or it would explain that it's a kid's show. Or it would explain that it's a kid's show for educational purposes. Crazy. What's next? Dark truth behind Play School? Did you know that the puppets that the people in Play School talk to aren't actually real? Oh my god. The people in Play School are actually in a mental asylum? Wow. And that theory was just a taste of what we have in store for this video. Some of them, most of them, even worse than this. to be honest. Speaking of conspiracies, spam. Where does it come from? It's a question as old as time. What came first, the telephone or the spam caller? Some say that it's always been around, that it's inescapable. And to that, I'd say you're wrong, thanks to this video's sponsor, Incogni. This is a true story. I bought a paintbrush and a canvas back in 2018 from one of my local art shops back in Brisbane. And since then, they have not stopped texting me with promotions. It doesn't matter how many times I unsubscribe, somehow, give it a couple of months, they find my number again, and they re-sign me up, and they keep sending me their weird little promotion discounts. I still get them to this day, but those days are over thanks to Incogni. You see, spam callers and emails can actually purchase your information online. Yes, purchase as in buy it. There is an entire industry out there where your information is being bought and sold. This can be something simple like your name and your age to your email, and even go as far as getting your internet history or your purchasing history. I don't want that. The good news is that you can demand to be taken off of these lists. Unfortunately, it is really annoying to do, and you can be on hundreds of these things. But thanks to Incogni, that's their whole job. Their job is to find the list that you're on and demand that these data brokers take you off those lists. And if they push back, Incogni pushes back harder. Incogni will keep at them until you are actually taken off those lists. You don't have to do anything. You sign up, you give them permission to act on your behalf, and they go out and they get started. The best part is you can track their progress. You can see how many requests have been sent out, are in progress, and have been completed. And even after all of this, they continue to guard your privacy month after month. So you can sleep well knowing that people can't just buy your information. I don't want people to know what paintbrushes I'm buying. If you click the link on screen or in the description, you will get 60% off an annual subscription of Incogni. That's a lot of percentage. Thank you again to Incogni for sponsoring the video. Now back to the video. This next one's about Dora the Explorer. We've explored some of Dora the Explorer's conspiracy theories in the past, but this one is so much crazier. The conspiracy theory is Boots is actually a child predator who kidnapped Dora? What? What episode did I miss, man? When did that happen?
What do you think we should do, Boots?
I think you need to shut that pretty little mouth right now.
What? Like, what? When did Boots say that? The whole trauma caused Dora to start imagining their journeys as awesome adventures. Swiper is the feds after them, and she just imagines the guy telling them to leave, when in reality, he is fending them off with an M1 Browning. An M1 Browning as in like the machine gun from like World War II? I gotta look that up. Yeah, no, it is. It is the machine gun. 100% correct. I can't believe. I played a lot of Call of Duty in my time. Who comes up with these theories, man? Let me look at who's coming up with this. Okay, his profile picture is Patrick Starr with a camera. Okay. No, that checks out. We have another conspiracy theory about the Rugrats. What's the conspiracy, you might ask? Oh, is it the Rugrats aren't actually babies, but tiny little adults, and they're pretending to be babies to trick the parents, and that's why they're so intelligent and can talk to each other? No. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a TikTok out there explaining that theory. Conspiracy theory is the babies are dead, and only Angelica can see them. Okay, please, pray tell. Continue. Angelica is the only one that can see the babies. Each of them has died, and Angelica imagines them. Tommy died at birth, which is why his father stays in the basement. Chucky died in a car crash, which is why his father is a nervous wreck. Phil and Lil were never twins. They were just one child. And since the child died from being stillborn, Angelica couldn't decide which gender they would be, so she chose twins. Oh, hell no! Whoa, crazy theory. I've actually heard this theory a few times. I think a simple rebuttal to this theory is explain Rugrats all grown up. They're like teenagers. Tommy has hair now. He's no longer bald. Also, aren't the parents like constantly picking them up in the show? Aren't they constantly interacting with the babies the whole time? You ever seen the Rugrats movie? Who came up with this? The theory goes that Angelica is actually dead. That is the reason that she's a child, because childs are like almost dead because they've only been alive for a few years, so they're pretty much dead. This next theory pertains to Sesame Street. What's the theory? Did you know that the Big Bird was actually originally called a Big Did you know that Oscar the Grouch is actually a Vietnam veteran, and that is why he is homeless, reflecting on the state of how the US used to treat American veterans after the Vietnam War? Man, maybe I need to start one of these TikTok channels. I could come up with these things all day.
You know the real story behind Sesame Street? The
real story of Sesame Street is from an abandoned hospital in Detroit. Big Bird...
Of course it is. Why is it always an abandoned hospital? Why is it always an abandoned place? When? When did that happen? I thought it took place on Sesame Street, not in an abandoned hospital. They don't call it Abandoned Hospital Street.
Big Bird had feathers falling out because he was malnourished. He wandered the halls alone, squawking to himself.
What's the theory? What is the theory there? He was actually malnourished and his feathers were falling out, and he squawked to himself. Okay, and then what?
Snuffleupagus was an
Snuffleupagus. Oh, even saying the name is terrifying even to this day. Sorry, continue.
Snuffleupagus was an imaginary friend to a little girl. She spoke to him constantly as her only companion. Elmo's fur was matted with blood from scratching his own skin. They had to put mittens on his little hands to stop him.
This isn't a theory. This is not a theory. You guys remember that famous episode of Sesame Street where Elmo was wearing mittens the whole time because he kept scratching his skin off? Oh, classic Elmo. He always did do that.
Elmo thinks there's bugs under his skin. Elmo needs more cocaine.
Cookie Monster ate everything he could find, even if it wasn't food.
Cookie Monster ate everything he could find, even if it wasn't a cookie. Everything. Oh, Cookie Monster, where are you? I heard somebody is wittily hungry right now. Stupid joke. It's a stupid joke. It's inappropriate, and you know, I should probably cut it out, but I won't.
As for Bert and Ernie, they wouldn't leave each other's side out of fear, clutching stuffed dolls. Their bond was the only thing keeping them sane, and that is their dark tale.
Yeah, Bert and Ernie actually really liked each other, and their friendship was the only thing that kept them from going crazy. And that's their dark tale right there. That's how dark it gets for Bert and Ernie. Honestly, pretty good outcome. Actually, nothing bad happened to them because they had each other. Aww. So, how f***ed up's that? Oh, thank God somebody said, I don't believe this mess. I'd be surprised if you did. Someone said, me either. And they said, exactly.
You found tunnels leading to Disney World?
These networks, Joe.
Joe Rogan did not say that. This is not a real podcast. That doesn't even sound like a good AI Joe Rogan. What is this, man? And who is he talking to?
You'll never believe this, Joe. The underground tunnels, okay, under Disney World. You wouldn't believe it. Even if I told you wouldn't believe it, I may as well just leave the podcast right now because you just wouldn't believe it. I'm even wasting my breath sitting here right now. I don't know why I agreed to this. I'm so sorry for wasting your time.
Who is that guy?
These creepy underground roller coasters. This all happened when we were just excavating on my land out in northern Florida. We'd cut into this strange kind of corridor. As we'd went down to take a look, we're seeing all these doors riddled on the sides of the corridors labeled Disneyland, Disney World, Universal Studios. Out of curiosity, we opened the door labeled Disney World, and we'd seen this just incredible, like open abyss of cave, like atmosphere with these massive roller coasters.
Why is it on your random piece of land in Florida as well? Why is it just so happen to be on your farm? And the doors conveniently are on your land? I'm starting to think that this guy might not be telling the truth.
I approach this entrance to the coaster, and I just see the seats riddled with what I hope were fake skeletons, just locked into all these seats. Out of curiosity, I climb into one of these seats and tell my buddy to hit the lever.
You didn't. No, you didn't do that. Okay, I know this whole theory is fake, and I know that it's just bullshit, almost more of a creepypasta than a conspiracy theory, but it is hilarious how ridiculous it is. He sees skeletons in all of the roller coasters, this like old roller coaster, and he's like, man, this is crazy. Hey, John, hit that button. I'm going to hop in one of these things and take this roller coaster for a spin. Why? I don't know, but I want to find out. Let's keep watching.
After hours of terror, I roll through a section that I recognize as an underground extension of Magic Kingdom, and I see a massive sign that says coaster. I prayed it would stop, but it never did.
Okay, well, if it never stopped, how are you recording this podcast, man? What are you, still on the roller coaster this day?
Thank you for accepting this Skype call, Joe. I really appreciate it. 1 second, we're going through a loop-de-loop. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, so we're on a straight again. Now, what was your question, Joe? I finally circled back to where I got on. I rolled past my buddy, who was still waiting for me, frantically messing with the lever, trying to get the ride to stop. As I rolled past him, back toward the drop, I said, "Tommy, get out of here. There's no way to stop it."
You had time to say that many words? Get out of here, Tommy. There's no way to stop it. It would have sounded more like this. Get out of here, Tommy. There's no way to stop it. Tommy, you gotta listen to me. Tell my kids I love them. So stupid. So obviously that wasn't a real Joe Rogan podcast, but this next theory, I think they might be onto something. You know, we've done the Teletubbies before, but I think this one might be a little bit more plausible.
The Sun Baby in Teletubbies isn't what it seems. The theory suggests that the Sun Baby is actually a trapped human baby being used as an energy source to control time in Teletubby land.
Where did they come up with this? What? Control time? Yes, we need to harness the energy of one whole baby. And then we can control time and manipulate it as we see fit. Now, with all this power, what do we think we're going to be using it for? That's right. 4 little Teletubbies living in a hillside.
The 4 Teletubbies, Tinky Winky, Dipsy, La La, and Po, are unknowingly caught in a loop where the baby's energy keeps the sun rising and setting, forcing them to relive the same day over and over again.
Whoa. Okay, this isn't Groundhog Day. Every episode of the Teletubbies is different, all right? Let's just get one thing clear, okay? There were no reruns of the Teletubbies. They never recycled a storyline. Sometimes the Tubby Custard would be there. Sometimes the Tubby Custard machine would break. But it wasn't the same every episode, let me tell you right now.
Cheerful environment hides a dark truth. The Teletubbies themselves may be programmed to ensure the baby stays trapped, distracted by their repetitive, childlike activities. But here's where it gets disturbing. The Sun Baby's laughter isn't what we think. Every smile is actually a cry for help, and with each new day, a part of the baby's humanity fades away.
Every day, a part of the baby's humanity goes away. Dude, I don't know if this might be a controversial opinion, but I don't know if babies have that much humanity to lose. What is the definition of humanity? Babies just poop and eat and cry and laugh. They don't really do that much. Barely human, he stopped eating and farting and eating. Like, I don't know. We'll probably cut that out.
The Teletubbies' daily routines, like Tubby Toast and Tubby Custard, aren't just innocent games. They're designed to keep them from realizing the truth.
I'm sorry, can AI get the fucking Teletubbies' little dongle at the top of their head correct? I have seen Lala with 3 different iterations of this simple straight line antenna that she has. The top comment is scary. Man, you need to read a book or go outside, dude. The Conjuring's way more scary than this. Look, I'm glad DeAndre is onto it. He said lies. Thank God we're on the same page here, man. I'm glad there's one person talking sense in the 3 comments that are on this video. Everyone remembers Fairly Odd Parents. You know, Timmy, he's an average kid that no one understands. Of course, he's got mom and dad and Vicky, but they're always giving him commands. Commands like bed, twerp, and such and whatnot. But then, of course, Doom and Gloom up in his room is broken instantly by his magic little fish who granted every wish, because in reality, there is Odd Parents and Fairly Odd Parents. Everyone knows Fairly Odd Parents, right? That was a long-winded joke. I don't think it really paid off either. I'm so sorry. But what if I told you there was a dark truth behind Fairly Odd Parents? What if I told you this whole video is about dark truths? Would you believe that by now? Would you believe that 15 minutes into the video? Let's check it out.
Have you heard the dark theory about Fairly Odd Parents? I grew up watching this show, and I don't think I can look at it the same after this. So according to a Reddit user called Super Inuit, Wanda and Cosmo aren't actually fairies. They're not even fish. They're actually Timmy's antidepressants. They state that Wanda is Prozac, and Zoloft is Cosmo. Because apparently Zoloft makes you giddy and happy all the time.
Okay.
Prozac makes you happy and over-analytical, like Wanda. What's your thoughts on this theory?
Okay, lots to take in. Or it's a kid's show. Or hear me out. Maybe they were just using the generic stereotypes of cartoons at the time and having a dumb, lovable husband that's the comedic relief, and then the wife is smart and sensible. No, I like the idea that they were antidepressants. You could almost apply this logic to any cartoon from that era. Did you know that Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson are actually antidepressants? Did you know that? I don't know why I'm doing like a voice now. Did you know that in Family Guy, Peter Griffin is actually stupid, which means he's an antidepressant. And Lois Griffin is actually smart, which means she actually is the other antidepressant that makes you smart and analytical. What do I think of this theory? I think this theory is shit. I think it's fucking stupid. Waste of time. Absolute waste of time. This next one is a slideshow of multiple theories, and these ones may just be the dumbest ones of all. Scariest cartoons theories that will ruin your childhood. The reason Peppa Pig is drawn with human-like proportions is because she is the result of twisted genetic experiments gone wrong, created to be a perfect propaganda tool for the dystopian government? The thing I'm really getting hung up on here is the human-like proportions. What about Peppa Pig says human-like proportions? Bro, she's like 1 foot tall with a giant pig's head. I'm not even touching the dystopian government propaganda tool. What the hell are you talking about? Ah, yes, I've always seen some comparisons between the book 1984 and Peppa Pig. They've always just been so similar. Daddy Pig is basically like Big Brother. Why are all of these cut off? I can't even read the top. Dora the Explorer is a twisted psychological experiment where the titular character is constantly drugged and brainwashed, subjected to unending dangerous adventures for the sadistic pleasure of her captors. Why the fuck they give her a talking backpack and a talking map then? Why the hell is her companion a monkey? Who the hell is Swiper in this then? The characters in Toy Story are actually sentient dolls trapped in a never-ending loop of rebirth, forced to live through the joys and horrors of multiple lifetimes in the hands of different owners. There's no dark secret to it. Man, there's no dark secret to it. If you're gonna do a dark secret on Pixar movies, maybe do a good one, like how all the movies are connected together. That's a good theory. I like that theory. What the hell is that? That's the second last photo. Read in the comments. What is that? Are these Smurfs? Are they supposed to be Smurfs? Why do they look like half ants? Guys, help please. TikTok want to ban this account. If we reach 1,000 subs, they won't do it. Save me. Did they get saved? They did. Oh, thank God. And there you have it. Those are all of the conspiracy theories we have today. Are you still with us? Hello? Are you in there? Hello? Wake up. Let me know which conspiracy theory you found the most ridiculous and which one you found the most believable. Probably none of them because they're all stupid. Maybe the real conspiracy theories were the friends we made along the way. Anyway, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a little comment of a fairy emoji, like fairy odd parrots. You know, you get it. If you made it this far in the video. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.